Should be.
Cool.
I got you guys cranked up, so everyone should be able to hear you.
Cool. Oh, I've lost Vince's picture.
I'm still here.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome to SEO UnMasked, episode number 80. Today is 16th of January, I believe. We're back after another nice month and a half hiatus of fucking around, and yeah.
What's up?
Fucking tired, and it's cold as fuck, and I need a haircut, and I need to shave.
Yeah. Well, I think in your part of the world, it's okay to have a beard for the entire winter.
Yeah, I've seen what you guys and the Canadians look like this time of year. You all have massive beards from now until like the end of February.
Did you just share on? Did you share on Facebook that it was going to be like -20 or something by you?
Yeah, it was -11 this morning when I drove to work. I think next Monday it's supposed to get colder.
Wow, that sucks. It's been in the 60s in New York this week.
60s? You fucking kidding me?
Yep.
Yeah, it's not been cold here at all. Not been quite as warm as that, but it's not been cold at all.
So what's going on with you guys? Any interesting developments?
No.
Not really. It's been a pretty crazy end to last year, start to this year. So I'm only just kind of just about caught up with everything now and getting back to normal. So it's been one of those months.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I just got my face in the books, man. Doing we're getting ready to do a Word Agents relaunch. I think it should be February or April. And I'm just completely rebuilding all of our like documents, like process documents, and that is a pain in the ass, let me tell you. But it's worth it, man. Once that's done, I can lean on that for the next 5 years or so before I have to do it again.
When you say relaunch, are you getting a new name or what's happening?
No, new website. I've got a proper order system, so we're not going to have to collect payments via email, and whole project management system for the writers. So again, we're not dealing with hundreds of emails every day. So starting to become a proper company.
I guess I do have some news.
Cool.
Well, I'm supposed to have been, piloting Pitchbox. I was supposed to start doing that Monday, but I haven't got to it yet.
Like in conjunction with them, or just for you guys?
Well, we need something to fix email deliverability, and I had a long call with Michael a couple weeks ago, and he basically everything that Steve and I have been trying to do with all our email sending system and all that fun shit that we just can't get to work right. Pitchbox already does behind the scenes apparently, and they just don't market all the technical aspects because which SEO really gives a fuck as long as it works. But, so yeah, I'm gonna pilot it and see how it goes, and then see if the pricing makes sense. We got to figure out what we're spending now to get fucked about every day, and then.
Yeah, they hooked me up to do a little link building case study that I never got around to do, but I was in there. That platform is friggin' awesome, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in there. I don't know how much of it we'll use, but I can. It looks pretty cool, especially since when I talked to Alex about a year and a half ago, I can tell they put a lot more stuff into it. It looks cool once I get around to actually fucking around with it.
You can always talk to Ryan Stewart. I know that's what he uses for all of his course how-tos and what he uses for his agency. So he might have some advice for you. Gotcha. But yeah, man, let's jump into the news here.
All right. Got to remember what the hell was all in here.
looks like the first one is this open source NLP that Google has put out. Google AI has open sourced Lightbert, aka Albert, a deep learning natural languaging processing model, which uses 89% fewer parameters than the state-of-the-art BERT model, with little loss of accuracy. Yeah, this stuff sounds cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't know how that applies to an SEO and how we can start optimizing around that.
Yesterday, Steve found some agency owner on LinkedIn that was ranting about he was going to hire a so-called SEO expert to join his agency. And this agency owner was like, God, what the fuck is it called? Something I'd never heard of. Something to do with machine learning that Google has an API for. And Steve, what was the name of that?
AutoML.
Yeah, some fucking
it's
bullshit.
It's not just a Google thing. Like Microsoft has AutoML, and loads of people do that.
This agency owner was basically like, if you don't know what AutoML is, you don't know how to do SEO, and you're obviously not a fucking expert. It's like, it's an open source fucking thing that other companies use, and then two, what is that supposed to solve the Google algorithm for you? Google doesn't give anything out. They don't give Gmail away for free, the source code. Why the fuck would they be giving that away? It's just like the most retarded thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know what he was getting at. I'm assuming he had some other point he was trying to make and just failed to get it across in the message, because it doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, all this NLP stuff is pretty cool, but until we can figure out how to optimize for it, it's kind of meaningless. I saw in another article we're going to talk about today about Tech Boost. They had a whole session on optimizing NLP for SEO, given by our good buddy Paul Shapiro. So I'll check that out after the show here.
Yeah, I think I got the. Never mind. Anyways, up to the next article here. It's been on everybody's fucking mind the last few weeks in SEO, probably, but.
Yeah, BuzzFeed put out. Well, it's a couple of weeks old now, I guess.
A few weeks. Yeah.
They basically outed the main players that are selling hacked links, aka niche edits. And it was pretty scathing. I'm not going to name names here, but I'll let you guys read. But when an article like this comes out in such a public fashion, it's pretty much the nail in the coffin for some of these guys.
What shocks me the most about it all was how many people. I thought everyone knew what they were buying, and they just, they just wanted to screw their customers over and make some easy money. It turns out the whole industry, like loads of people thought that these people were actually doing outreach because they said it on their website. It's like, you really think
it's
that
just
you can
a
get a
fucking
link
revolving
for
door of
$30?
SEO or internet marketing as a whole. It's like
their client base are kids or newbies that have no idea what the difference is, and they just see that it works and it's not that expensive, or it's people that are space cadets and they just believe that it was outreach, or there was a very small portion of clients that understood what it was and just didn't care. But yeah.
Like the space cadet people, look how many of these people are still defending these guys. And it's just like, I mean, you can do your own research, you can judge for yourself, but like, these guys have been caught. There's not much to really defend anymore. We have been talking about it for like the last 2 years. This happened like a decade ago with these types of links. Like, it's not something new. And yet, these space cadets are like, oh, no, such and such. He would never do that. Look, he even said he didn't mean to do it. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. But mysteriously, the agency in question got sold a week after this article came out. But it wasn't
So-
because of this article. It was
No,
because
the new agency's back doing niche edits again straight away. So if you look on the website, it's a short-lived break in hacking into things, I guess. Maybe, allegedly.
one thing
I
I've
mean,
learned
it's just ridiculous. People just need to be able to use a bit of common sense. Like,
Right.
is a rival law firm really going to link to you for $30? Like, what are you taking the mic or something?
Yeah, I'm not even saying that niche edits don't have their place. It's just like, it's just mind blowing, like the level of naivety. Is that a word? How naive
Yeah,
people
yeah.
be.
I don't know. One thing I've learned in life is if you act like you're untouchable, the consequences get more and more serious as you push the envelope. And a lot of these guys just, like you said, they just close down and reopen. I gotta imagine eventually it's gonna have some kind of real world consequence for them for selling these hacked links.
Well, you would think so. I mean, it's so out there compared. It's not like they're just doing not good work, or like they're promising 500-word articles and they give people 490 to save themselves $1 and hope no one knows. Like they're not just doing normal like stuff that some slightly less good businesses do now and then because they haven't got good quality controls. They're just straight up doing something entirely different from what they say they're doing, and what they're doing is possibly illegal. It doesn't really. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The whole thing just seems insane to me. Like,
Yeah.
why would you buy a bunch of hacked links for one of your clients? It just doesn't make it. It just doesn't seem like something that you should even think would be a good idea. And yet, there's agencies like telling their clients they're going to get some outreach links and buying hacked links for them.
Yeah. And we're not talking about small agencies either. We're talking about agencies that people probably know pretty well. And we're all in links, so I'm always poking my head around and asking where they get their links, or if they have any suggestions about how I can grab some easy links for cheap. And the people that you would respect from an outside perspective as an SEO, they tell you that they're buying these niche edits, and it's kind of just surreal a little bit.
Yeah, we work in like the dumbest industry in the planet, pretty close, I think.
So
there's probably some other one, but we must be pretty close.
what would happen if, like, let's say the police or whoever the fuck would actually investigate this went to agency XYZ and said, all right, you've been purchasing all these illegal, or what, I guess we're not legal, but you're going to get in trouble for these links. And the agency owner says, well, I had no idea. I was told I was buying legitimate links like this and that and that. Is an agency owner still liable at that point? Can they play the dumb I don't know card?
I think the prosecutor would have to get expert witnesses from the industry to convince the jury that they would have to have known, like a reasonable person in the industry would know, and it would be quite difficult, I think, to. I don't know though. I mean, I guess if they found an agency big enough that it was worth prosecuting, and enough clients complained, you might get a prosecutor to take it up. I mean, I would hope they would, because I think it's ridiculous that people are pretending they didn't know these were hacked links. It's obvious these were hacked links. The ones that were outed in that article were super obvious. I mean, I'm sure there's some subtle providers of unscrupulous links that are harder to tell, but the ones in the article are like super obvious. I mean, there's people crying about their website being ripped to pieces. I mean, it's like, okay, yeah. So I mean, that was obviously a hacked link.
Yeah. Cool. Let's move on here. As I mentioned before, sharing the Tech SEO Boost recordings from this year's conference.
It was actually like a month and a half ago. We're just getting around to.
Yeah, they do it in like late November, I think. I haven't been. I keep on telling Paul that I'm going to come up, but I haven't been able to make it up to Boston. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should go to Tech Boost next year in November.
Yeah,
I
that'd
don't
be
know.
fun.
This year. But anyway, you get the whole conference recorded right here on this link, and the focus obviously is technical SEO. I haven't been able to watch yet, but it looks like there's some cool sessions. Like I said before, NLP for SEO. That's something we talk about a lot. Definitely going to watch that one. Technical link building. Sure, that's good for you guys. Ultimate pagination for SEO. I think that's something a lot of us never think about. So it'll be cool to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time I watch this every year, it's a knowledge bomb. So definitely suggest checking that out.
Cool.
Next up, we got Hobo Agency, and their how to optimize a website using internal links guide. Didn't they put this out? They put this out last year too, right?
I don't know. I think I saw Bill Slosky put this on Facebook, and I still haven't had time to get through it. I don't know what's changed from the past, but it's a really long, in-depth article, and these guys are pretty good. And if Bill Slosky is recommending it, there's going to be some pretty good technical information in there. So,
my favorite title in the whole thing is "Links are like lasers." So if you want some lasers, come to me and Garrett, and we'll sort you out.
You heard the man.
Yeah, and on my affiliate site, we're going to be doing a whole internal link optimization. So something like this with Kevin Indig's guide, I think will be make it pretty easy to do it.
Yeah.
Again, it's a lot easier. Sorry, go ahead.
With Kevin's guide, are you doing the whole like tying into Screaming Frog and assigning all the chai rank and page rank numbers and everything?
Yeah, I figured out how to run PageRank client side, but I got to figure out how to run ChiRank. I started it and then I got stuck at that point. So once I get to the point where I'm ready to do the optimization, I'll dig back in. But my site's only like 300, 350 pages, so it's not gonna be too hard. But if you got a site, 2,000 plus pages, you really got to be doing this internal link optimization stuff, just because you're probably sending link juice to pages that don't need it and don't matter. So that's a good read there. Something from SEO Roundtable.
Yeah, but last month there was an update for local SEO. Google cracking down on more doorway pages and shit. But I mean, this happened a long time ago in SEO in general. And I always thought that this was something that, they claimed back, this was like the same time as like Penguin came out, that they were doing this, that this was going to be constantly refreshing in real time. But I mean, for like the last 6 years, it doesn't seem like it ever did. It's like they had to manually target it again. Which
I think their definition of a doorway page in the negative connotation is very gray area. It goes back to all those keyword permutation stuff that we talked about with when. But real our clients, we have clients that have us building out 100 location pages every month, and they're absolutely killing it in their industry.
Well, I mean, who's to say? What if you're fucking like Applebee's? You have thousands of restaurants across the country. Why the fuck can't you have a page for each city that you're in? Or if you're a fucking national business of some sort, who the fuck says I can't have a page for each city on it?
Well, I think with their definition, you can do that. I mean, it just says that they're looking to avoid pages which are too similar. They take the user to essentially the same destination, and it's less useful than the final destination. So as long as your local page for that local Applebee's is the most useful page for that user, and they don't have to go, it's not like they go to that page, then they have to go to the Applebee's website. They go to that page and they get the menu for that specific location, the opening hours for that specific location, where it is, picture of the manager, little bar, like stuff that's really unique to that location, then it is the most useful page for that particular location. So it's not leading the user to an intermediate page. So I think you can do it without breaking Google's rules. I don't know what the person asked.
And also, I think the uniqueness of the content matters too. Like if you have unique content in each of the location pages, you seem to get a pass. Whereas, a couple years back, people were literally just using the same exact article, but just swapping out the location keywords. And that's obviously a no-no. But what I thought was really interesting or conflicting was Mueller's response. He says doorways are sites or pages created to rank highly for specific search queries. Isn't that all of SEO? Isn't that what SEO is? Like, how is it? Did you just apply doorways to every single page that an SEO tries to rank? So again, that's what leads me to the idea that their definition of a doorway page exists in that gray area, because every page is built to rank for a specific query. I don't know.
Yeah.
I suppose if you have a page, like if you were doing laptop reviews and you had a page like best laptops, best cheap laptops, you should have to, I guess, make sure your content is also sufficiently relevant just to that keyword. Like it doesn't just lead people to all get the same like top 10 laptops list. Because we know a site in the finance space that did that. They had these auto-gen finance tables, and then 10,000 pages that all had the same tables on.
Right.
They didn't customize the results for the keywords. It was just the same top 20 credit cards were on like best student credit cards, best everything, and they got they had to fix that. Google didn't like that. So I think, like Ben was saying, as long as you're giving real unique value on the page, I don't think you can say you shouldn't do it. Like obviously, if you have genuinely something to add to what the best laptop for a student is, you shouldn't just be forced to only have one page. It would seem to me to be stupid for Google to think everyone would want just the generic best laptops page. Obviously, they want the review that's most suitable to them. So I definitely don't think he can mean that any of those would be doorway pages automatically. Just that you could make them to be as useless as doorway pages, and if you do, we've seen examples where Google has penalized people over it.
Yeah. I'm looking at this next article here, and I'm let me share it. Good old Matthew Woodward did a test on the fastest WordPress hosting providers, and TLDR, it looks like WPX is top 2, and that's what I use, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, they seem to be killing it.
Interesting little study here, and Kinsta's doing well. I was surprised WordPress engine wasn't closer to the top. But...
Well, they used to always be extremely slow. Matthew Woodward did a study quite a while ago with WP Engine, and they're less far behind now than they were then. But it does surprise me that their marketing claims, they obviously haven't improved as much as they say they have, based on this study anyway. I have to qualify it there because obviously we haven't repeated the study to verify the results. But I don't know. This is one thing I think Matthew Woodward does do quite well. Some of his content I'm not mad keen on, but when he tests tools out and stuff, he really goes pretty deep. Like when he analysed Moz, Ahrefs, and Majestic, and all of their link data and stuff, he was more than ready to have a good long argument and debate with the reps from the various companies if they disagreed with him and back it up with his data. So I think he does these kind of tests in a pretty diligent way. So based on his track record, I would kind of trust these results.
Ben, are you vaping?
Yeah.
When did you start that?
Vegas. You.
He was doing it on one of the previous shows as well. There's loads of video evidence of it vaping.
You just have to have a cigar once a week or something.
Yeah, my mom got me a cigar subscription for my
Oh,
birthday.
nice.
So
Nice.
every other month they send me like 2 or 3 cigars, which is more than enough for me. I only smoke one every couple of months. But anyway, Seer Interactive of 3,785 Google search partner placements reviewed. 3,785 were garbage. I didn't get to read this one. Who put
Steve
this
up?
This is just a continuation of the study because SEO does mostly pay-per-click, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong if you work at SEO or whatever, but I think they're pretty well known in the pay-per-click space these days. And they did a study before where they provided a free list on their website of dodgy places that you should blocklist Google from putting your ads, and it sounds like they're continuing to find more evidence of shady search partners, and they found like park domains that were sending fraudulent traffic and all kinds of garbage in there. So he's just got some tips on tools you can use to find the data, identify the park domains, and avoid having your ads run in those places. So if you're into pay-per-click, I think it does seem like the spammers have got more sophisticated in how they manage to extract money from the Google ecosystem. So I think as an agency, if you're doing it for your clients, you kind of owe it to yourself to be pretty diligent on this kind of stuff, and make sure to eliminate these, because it's different from Facebook. Like if you advertise on Facebook, your ads just go on Facebook. Facebook has complete control, doesn't it? You know, it's hard for someone to have a fake website on Facebook sending you traffic, whereas Google has all these non-Google places where it sticks ads if you use their search network and partners.
Did you know Matt Cutts got divorced?
I did not. I did not know that. Is he running a dodgy Google search partner network now, or is that just a?
I was looking at
I
was looking at the next thing on Twitter, and I had some notifications because I never signed in there. But Matt said in 2019 I met a new partner, and she's taught me so much about listening to my inner voice. So it's interesting.
I'm assuming his inner voice was. I'm assuming, according to her, his inner voice was telling him, "Divorce your wife. Divorce your wife."
I hope he's doing better then.
Yeah. Hopefully they're all doing well. Those things are nice fun.
Speaking of PPC stuff, I went out to dinner last week with some old internet marketing buddies, and I think that we forget, since we're in the SEO world, that there's a whole world of PPC affiliate arbitrage guys that still exist, and these are guys that are remnants of like the old Wikifire era that really kind of figured out PPC arbitrage. And dude, they're going strong, man. They just run offers, and these guys are doing like $5,000 a day on with like popovers and display ads, and it's just about.
Yeah, we found that out when we were at LeadsCon. I mean, some of the guys we had dinner with, it's just crazy the amount of traffic they're buying. It's just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Push notifications obviously were huge, but I mean that's the whole conference where you'd think there's like 10% of the people there were doing SEO traffic, 90% of the people there, all the traffic they're sending to offers was paid.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to go to LeadsCon, just because it's not good for word agents, and I think Affiliate Summit is very similar to that as well.
Yeah, we didn't bother buying tickets or just.
Yeah, but
we're just in town for some people that are there and some meetings. That's it, really, because people are there that. Well, Garrett's got one meeting he has to have anyway that's really important, and then obviously there's a bunch of other people around that we need to have quick meetings with. So, and they're all in town for it. So,
I would love to, once I get word agents automated a little bit more, I would love to get into PPC and just dick around with that and see if I can get an offer profitable. But you know what? There's no guides out there. There's no blogs that teach you how to do that for affiliate arbitrage. Like, I think you just gotta figure it out. Like
I've been trying to find something too, because for Skid Heaven, my company is selling the tracks and tires for skid loaders, bobcats, whatever. Organic search is going fine. It's going to be picking up here. There's no competition for it, right? And but PPC, it's something I also want to do. Like, I've been running some Facebook ads. Like, I got clicks down to like 20 cents a click or whatever, and people are like, "That's supposedly our gurus." Oh no, you should only be paying a penny a click, and it's like, I don't think it's actually possible. And I don't know. I'd like to learn more about it, but there's no real good advanced guides out there that I can find, unless some of these gurus have like these, affiliate arbitrage or just any kind of PPC shit for like, buy this course for $800, and then.
Oh, what you want to do for because I've watched a few over the years. There's loads of these virtual conferences online where they have all the advertising speakers and stuff, and you can just sign yourself up for free, or sometimes it's like $99 or something, and you can just watch. It's just like in the SEO world. There are good people that talk. You just have to watch them talk in a really long, boring lecture format. But
Gotcha.
There is good stuff out there. Because I watched a whole one about e-commerce advertising on Facebook, and some of the stuff they do is really clever. It's kind of like what we do with Linkbait. The guy's wife had made I can't remember what she did now. It was something to do with weddings, and so they were doing really clickbaity and attractive to newlyweds that are not newlyweds, people with their wedding coming up really soon. What do you call that? I don't know. About to have their wedding people. And it was really attractive to them, but in all the pictures they were driving all the paid traffic to that from Facebook. But all the pictures showcased one of her products, and they just put a little kind of thing at the bottom, buy this now, buy it. So once you kept reading the article, if you saw something you liked, you could quickly click and straight from the image add it to your basket on the e-commerce store. So there was no attempt to sell the product directly, but that was getting 400% more ROI than when she was just trying to sell the products on Facebook.
Yeah.
So
I find that
loads of cool stuff like that.
I find that the guys that actually make legit money, $1,000 a day or more from PPC arbitrage, they're very good at statistics. They're very good at mathematicians, and they understand the data that they're looking at. Much more than SEO people, for sure.
It's something it's really difficult to because the margins are really tight. So you can have because I used to play around with it in the finance lead gen space, and it used to be amazing before Yahoo and Bing merged. Because Yahoo, you could buy UK life insurance clicks for 27p, and they were $8 on Google. But that went away when they merged with Bing. It got more expensive, and the traffic just went away as well. You could hardly buy any on Bing. So I was still getting them quite cheap on the new Bing and Yahoo combined, but it just seemed to drop off a cliff. But the problem you have with it is the margins are quite tight. So you're making a profit and it's ticking along, and you're making 10% a day. And then one day, just randomly, your campaign stops working and all the prices go up for your clicks. And then you lose 30% in a day, so you've lost 2 weeks worth of money in a day, and you're fuck. So
just track it so closely.
Someone has to be monitoring everything all the time, making sure that you're staying profitable on every campaign.
And the traffic is so, where you get the traffic from is so important. If you're doing media buying and you want to buy spots on Yahoo or Bing or CNN, you have to have a minimum daily ad spend, and sometimes it's $50 grand. So to run the offer for the month, you're hundreds of thousands of dollars, and if you're operating at a thin margin,
it used to be so much more flexible when you were trying to buy media placements, but with all the automated media buying, like Vince says now, you have these minimum budgets. I think it was advertise.com or advertise.net. I forget which one now. But you used to be able to go on there, and it had spare capacity on just about every publication on the internet. So and a friend of ours and us, we had a small campaign for a boat engine manufacturer, and they just wanted to get some traffic to the new engine that they just launched, and we were able to buy tons of traffic from all these fishing forums, all these niche specific forums, websites, and stuff and now that's like, you can't do any of that kind of stuff. It's all run of network. Like Vin said, you got to put a big chunk of money in. You can't just pick sites that you want like you used to be able to. So now if you want to do that kind of stuff, it's really hard to do without buying a shitload and letting it be automatically bought for you, or writing to all these people trying to negotiate deals directly, which again, they're not going to talk to you for some small amount of money. It's not worth their time. Oh, can I do the banner, but only when you've got some spare capacity for 12 cents a click, please? They're like, who the fuck are you? Go away.
And then you gotta have a ton of cash to get over cash flow issues. Like say your ad spend every day is 10 grand. That's 300 grand a month. And yeah, every day you're going to convert and make some money, but you get paid on net 30. So you literally need at least 60 grand to hold you over 2 months before you start getting paid on what you earn. And
then what happens if you get burned by your fucking affiliate partner for $500,000 fucking dollars?
Yeah, they scrub.
Which happens a
lot. Yeah.
It happens a lot.
Scrub rates are just part of the industry. Like apparently affiliate networks are just allowed to cancel out some of your conversions just on a whim. Yeah. So it's crazy. You need a lot of money, but if you can get something optimized and you can get it profitable for a few months, man, it's life-changing money.
Well, anyway, what I'm excited about for doing PPC is, fucking, if I can get Skid Heaven up to like even $500,000 in revenue as a business, and $500,000 in revenue buying all these tracks and tires and shit on my Amex Platinum card, that's 500,000 MRs every year. Plus, and then if I can start running ads, like all of a sudden I got 1 million MRs a year for like relatively doing nothing because I'm just drop shipping out tracks, and it's like fucking first class here, first class there, fucking any hotel.
That's like 10 return first class flights anywhere in the world.
We got
obviously
I want the company to put a nice chunk of cash in my pocket too.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's like $70,000 worth of value just from the MRs,
Yeah.
All right, we got a tweet here from Mark Hurst, who says Google now censors blogs for not including enough Google-friendly content.
Yeah.
Who threw this up?
Yeah, I mean, they did respond. What's his name? They used to do Search Engine Land that works for Google now. Danny Sullivan, is it?
Yeah.
He did reply eventually to something and said, no, this has all been misunderstood. It was just a recommendation. It wasn't meant, but like it clearly says on there, issues detected. Like, yeah. So I think they're backtracking on it already. That they're trying to force people to put calories on recipes and stuff. But I think there's going to be more of this, where people they want this structured data. They want to be able to scrape people's websites and use it for their own purposes. And they're going to now try and force you to do it. And I think they're backtracking on this one because it happens to be a hot button issue. People are sensitive about diets, weight. And, some people might want to do a recipes blog for people that aren't, able to look at calories for, because it's bad for their mental state and well-being. So they're backtracking on this one, but I wouldn't be surprised, and we'll be watching eagerly to see if they start trying to bully people into putting more structured data on it. Like, are they going to say to local people, "Oh, you haven't got your, you haven't got local opening hours markup correctly on your website. You haven't got this, you haven't got that," because they want that structured data so they can scrape it more easily. Only for good reasons, of course. I would not suggest that they ever do anything other than in the benevolence.
Well, we're up to our main topic for today, and it's something that's kind of hit the industry by storm over the past month. It's the closing and seizure by the SEC of Income Store / Today's Growth Consultant. For those of you that don't know or didn't know, Income Store was somewhat of a boiler room of content websites. And e-commerce websites. Their scheme was to get investors to invest $100,000 and then Income Store to go build a website or buy an existing website, and they would guarantee you a 15% return for life. And then on top of that, if the website they got for you made extra profit, they would split that profit with you 50-50. So long story short, of course, because of Google's changes, they couldn't make all 1,200 websites that they had profitable. So they started having to use new investments to make those investor payouts for the old investors.
Allegedly, then.
Allegedly.
The SEC alleges that.
Alleges.
They definitely did.
I'm not so good with that legal talk there, but it's crazy. From what I understand, a lot of investors got burned. A lot. They lost their entire investment. Income Store raised over $75 million in investor money over the past 2 years. And pretty much all of it is unaccounted for or was used inappropriately.
It's kind of scary. I mean, on the face of it, the original business model was probably quite successful. I mean, they've been around for 10 years or something, 20 years maybe. I can't remember now. But the original business model is probably quite a sensible idea. I think the case is just attempting to grow too fast.
So I don't know if it was Vin or someone else sent me, like, this isn't the first time Ken's gotten into some trouble over these websites.
Oh, there's a lady on YouTube did that. Yeah.
I found, well, not just the videos, but the court documents. Maybe I didn't send you them, but this happened in like the mid-2000s. He burned a bunch of people. I don't know, but I'm kind of thinking there's a pattern here over the years at this point.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the SEC will bring that up in their final filings if that's the case.
The SEC filed something called the receivership, which means that they send somebody into the company to act as the CEO and make all decisions for the company while it's going through the SEC's review. So
I've noticed that their Shopify stores are back live again now, though. So I guess whoever's administering it now, because they all got shut down.
Who's working there? I thought everyone got fired.
There's nobody working there. They might have some of the execs in there that have their asses on the line, helping them out. But from what I've heard,
well, the administrator will bring back in whoever they can afford to bring back in to preserve the value of whatever assets before they get rid of them.
But the worst part about this is not only did all these investors lose their entire investment, some of them didn't make any money whatsoever.
Right.
But now that the case is in receivership, those websites are completely maintained and in the possession of the SEC. So even though that all these investors legally own these websites,
well, that's not entirely certain though. They thought they did. It's not entirely clear that they definitely did, and that'll be key to whether they get them back or not. Like if it turns out, I mean, the way I forget exactly the way the SEC worded it, but they said it appears instead of actually owning the websites and being in a partnership, it was an illegal securitization. In which case, what they own is the same as anyone else that Income Store owes money to. They own part of Income Store's current assets. So if that was the case, it's possible the SEC could just dispose of all the sites, I guess, and then the money just gets split between everyone who's owed money, which is less than you would get.
That might, let's say the SEC sells them. Do you think they're savvy enough to get the full value out of them? Or are they going to dump them for a price?
No.
Well, I say the SEC sells them. It wouldn't be the SEC, like Ben said. It would be the administrator
the receiver.
Or whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, that'd be interesting. That'd be something to follow, I guess, if they do come for sale. If they start going for like 50 cents on the dollar, just value them, because some of them aren't very good sites, but maybe you can pick up some for 25 cents on the dollar, considering all the links that got built to them and the content that's up there. And
well, yeah, I wonder if there'll be an auction.
I would imagine it's going to be. I would imagine it's an auction. That's what I would imagine it would be. Yeah, and
I mean, hopefully the
I should
people
have just
who
said
own
that
the
on the air then.
well, our millions of viewers will almost certainly mean that these will all go for millions now instead of hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of I mean, I think that the original business model of buy a site, most of them would have made money, I think, if at a slow pace. But like Vin said, when you've got 1,200 sites, a really small staff, and some of them really got built or paid out any money at all, it's kind of impossible to make that work. That's a huge operation.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, let's say you got 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 40 hours a week.
You got to back up from there though, because it's not even about the time. It's just about the skill level of the worker.
Well, yeah, let's say you even had the skill, which no one at Income Store did. Let's say you had the skill level, whatever that level is.
I'm sure some of them did. But...
Well, how many sites can you feasibly run yourself or manage? And even if you're outsourcing the work, just like
from what I heard, because they did bring in a new CEO in a couple of months ago to try to fix this mess, and I heard that they were just massively understaffed for the number of sites that they had.
I mean, if you looked on LinkedIn, I mean, obviously people have started removing it from LinkedIn, but if you looked on LinkedIn while they were in operation, there really weren't that many people working there when you think about the number of sites. And if you think, in the real world, if that was a real e-commerce store, it might have 3 members of staff by itself. In the Income Store model, it had maybe 0.4 members of staff or 0.2. Like even with the skill, like Garrett said, even if you imagine they all had skill, 0.2 people running a business that would normally have 2.5, 3 people running it's asking a lot. Even if you have amazing processes, it's like
amazing processes and people with experience in ranking the sites, but they didn't. And what they were using is one strategy that works probably 2013 to 2015, and as that changed, they just could not keep up, and they didn't think to revise their SEO strategy. So yeah, now we are where we're at. So the SEC
less people know about this than you'd think, though. I asked, like in just 10 random conversations I was having with clients and leads and stuff, I just mentioned Income Store, and only one guy had heard anything about it, but he hadn't read anything. He just kind of heard about it, and the other 9 were like, "Income what?"
It was a somewhat of a vacuum, and nobody in the real SEO industry heard about them because the investors that they were targeting were pretty much had no idea what they were getting into, and they have no idea about this world that we live in. So
I mean, when you first mentioned them to me years ago that they existed, the only reason I'd heard of them was because they had a conference, and I'd seen it like promoted.
Oh, I forgot about
that. Digital footprint.
That's it, yeah. So it was only because they ran that big conference that I'd heard of them. I guess.
And you could totally tell by the videos of the conference that they were going after a certain personality type. It very much seemed like they were targeting people that came from like the multi-level marketing world, or old guys that are looking to put something away for their retirement. People that were definitely not savvy to the internet marketing world. And I guess if that worked and they were doing, they didn't get nailed for a Ponzi scheme, then maybe that would have been a smart strategy. But they were just kind of pulling the wool over eyes of unknowing people.
Yeah, and I don't understand I mean, I understand from a sales perspective, you'll get more people invest if you make crazy guarantees. But I think lots of people would have invested just on the partnership basis. Like, look, we're going to buy this site, and whatever we make, we'll split 50-50. They never would have been in a position where they had to pay out money that they didn't have it on that deal, because the site hasn't made money yet. We don't pay you anything yet. We don't get anything. You don't get anything. Like, I don't really understand. I mean, maybe that'll come out when the case is actually heard and we see the final result. But I really don't understand why it was like obviously with like Madoff and these other types of Ponzi scheme, the only product is that he makes money magically out of money. There is no website or, like it's all just money being turned into money. So he has to give you a guaranteed return to make the scam work at all. Otherwise, you won't invest with him. You'll just buy a normal fund.
And then there's other business models within their scheme that would have been legal and worked. Like if they operated this as a hedge fund, where
just to be clear, Ben isn't saying anything they did was illegal. Allegedly.
Sorry, allegedly. I'm not pointing fingers here. I'm just talking about news that I've read.
There we go.
But if they ran this as a hedge fund, where the websites were the assets and they just paid out based on performance of the fund, then they're not in this situation. But,
well, it's more difficult to target the size of investors they were trying to target. If I think that was the whole idea of this partnership and buying the site, and then we just do this because then they're not buying a security. But obviously, the way they were actually set up, allegedly, according to this SEC document, they were actually just the people that were investing were really just buying an unlisted, unregulated, illegal security. So they wouldn't have been able to sell that kind of thing to people, just regular people at a conference like they were doing. They would have come under all the securities regulation. It would have had to all be advertised properly to accredited investors. And
which I'm sure they knew, and I'm sure that they evaluated the hedge fund model and they knew that it wouldn't work. But so they went with this this crazy model that they had to have known that was risky, but they moved forward anyway because they wanted to be big boys making big dollars.
I mean, one thing I am sure of is that they will have taken legal advice on setting this up. So it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting case. I look forward to reading.
Well, I mean, you'd hope they do.
Do you think
I mean, they didn't come up with this by themselves, like a way to circumvent securities regulations. Like someone smart came up with this.
Do you think, let's say a portion of the websites just go offline? Do you think that has any effect on Google's index or the link graph, or is it too small to make a blip? Now, keep in mind.
Yeah. I mean, 1,200 websites is not going to make any difference to anything, and most of them are back online now. And well, the ones I looked at a few that I knew were Income Store and like the e-commerce store seem to be back. But I mean, what I was chatting to someone about this. One of the big problems is we're imagining the original business model was just the sites had a value because they had search traffic. A lot of their new projects were advertising based. So, I mean, what value does that? Because I see those sites trying to be sold all the time on like marketplaces. But then you're buying just some random drop shipping store and an ad campaign or whatever for some huge amount of money based on its revenue. And it's like, well, for much cheaper, I can just copy all the ads, copy all the content, make a new drop shipping store and not pay anything. The site doesn't, to me, those kind of businesses don't have any value at all. I would never buy one. I mean, I wouldn't also just, copy someone's entire business either. But you know what I mean? There's no, you can't, like with an SEO site, I can't just take like, one of Vin's sites, the site that shall not be named. I can't just copy all your content-ish, stick it up, and it won't rank because I've got no links yet. It hasn't aged. It's plagiarized, so Google, I'll probably get duplicate content penalties. But if you ran a store, like say for a tactical pen, because that's something that people do bullshit advertising for. Your tactical pen store, and you've got like 3 pens, and you've got like 10 ads that I see all the time on Facebook. I can fire up a store, make a similar ad, and copy your whole business and start making myself some money immediately. Like I don't need to buy that from you if I want that business. If all you're doing is drop shipping some bullshit pen from China. So I think it's really debatable whether some of these assets, even if they were making money, can even be sold. Like random Shopify store that only has money coming in if you run ads to it. I know you see them sold, but I don't know why people buy them. Maybe someone can explain that to me.
Well, it'll be sold on profit margin. So, your average ads, compare your monthly ad spend to a monthly profit and multiply that by the multiple.
But the person who is running the ads is gone. Like, who's running? You know, you've got to buy it, and then you've got to hire someone to run the ads. You've got to make sure they perform the same as they did before it was sold to you.
That's with any site sale. I mean, you know, when I sold my website in 2016, yeah, I was the guy doing the content and SEO. Now I'm gone. You know, that's up to the new owner to figure out how to maintain it.
Yeah, but it didn't just drop to zero immediately. It had traffic and stuff already.
Right.
If they just left it alone for 3 months while they figured stuff out, they would still make money for 3 months.
Right.
Like, it's I don't know, buying something that's entirely just exists through sending ads to I don't know, it doesn't make any sense to me to buy something like that. I think they'll have trouble selling any of those for particularly good multiples given the state of them.
Yeah. We'll see, man.
I've seen some of the stores, man.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. There's got to be some accountability on the part of the investors too, just for not doing their due diligence. Like some very basic question. Let's use this as an example. Amelia, who's doing all the YouTube videos on the topic, or maybe it was Miles Becker. They shared one of the contracts for one of the sales, and it was a $500,000 investment, and the entire contract was scribbled out on a single piece of printer paper for $500,000.
That was someone's refund.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, they agreed a repayment schedule on a scribbled note.
Yeah. And of course, not $1 of that repayment.
I think they made the first installment allegedly, but yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get with them for a while. But yeah, it's kind of crazy, that part of it. I mean, MJ DeMarco said that on the Millionaire Fastlane. Like, he was like, well, some investor was moaning that he was being too gloating, and he's like, oh, I should have like Googled and found this forum result from years ago when you said this was bullshit. And he's like, of course you should have found it. You gave them $100,000.
Yeah, Jesus.
You didn't Google their name and find the thread that said it was a scam.
I mean, if you were going to put $100,000 into a mutual fund, wouldn't you, like, even if you're not a savvy investor, wouldn't you probably like Google it or go talk to an investment advisor or something? Like, how is this fund performed or something? Like, how do you just go and stick $100,000 into some super, let's say, degenerate investment vehicle to begin with, and not even, I don't know, just.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It's crazy. It's gonna be interesting to read how this all shakes out. And I guess maybe if you're a savvy SEO, you might benefit from it a little bit. But I do feel bad for all those investors that can't do.
Yeah, I don't share. I don't share quite the hostility to the. Well, I don't even know if it's hostility, but the kind of slightly, oh well, you should have known of the view that MJ DeMarco has. I think, like Vin said, they targeted a very specific demographic on purpose. Well, they allegedly targeted a very specific demographic on purpose who didn't have the knowledge to do the kind of checks. And, and it is a very plausible business model. I don't think it's guaranteed that this had to not work. I think done at the right scale and with the right strategies, and with a proper exit for the sites. So it wasn't just like, oh, we're going to give you 15% forever. Like, I mean, it should have been more like, you'll get 15% a year for 5 years. We'll sell the site together once we've grown it, and we'll split the profit. Like, there's ways this model could have been entirely not risk-free. Nothing's ever going to be risk-free in investing and stuff, but it didn't have to be quite this crazy. So I think I can completely understand why someone who could look at these numbers and be like, yeah, I can see how that's supposed to work.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit harsh to, obviously we would never have invested in this kind of thing because it sounds a bit over optimistic. And what do you mean? We're just going to own this site forever and you're going to give me 15% for the rest of my life? Like, that doesn't, what?
That's too good to be true.
Yeah. What are you talking about? But I can understand why, because the model itself and the way the sites were supposed to work makes sense. I can understand why someone could get sucked in. So, I do feel bad for people when this kind of thing happens. I mean, there's people posting that, you know, like it was their life savings that they put in because they just, you know, they wanted, you know, instead of buying some kind of proper retirement income product from a financial advisor, they put it in this because 15% was obviously better and things like that. So I feel sorry for people like that, especially because the young people that have done it, they just have to kind of shrug their shoulders and chalk it up to being stupid and young. But for the older people, you know, that are at the end of their working lives, you know, I don't know where it's kind of hard to replace a couple of $100,000 if you're 70 and finished work.
Yeah.
So I feel sorry for the older people that got sucked in.
Anyway, I think we're right at an hour right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything you guys got to cover before we sign off?
I don't know.
No,
There
that
was
was the last item. So
January algorithm update, but I didn't see anything, which I never seemed to.
But we'll go over that next week because we'll have a week to fill it out a little bit.
I'm calling it the niche edits update because the only people that seem to be moaning are in Black Hat forums. So I'm guessing they bought more of them than average. So I'm going to call it that for now. That's my hypothesis, and we'll see in a month's time if most of the people affected were the kind of people who buy niche edits or not. But I haven't seen anyone legit really moving around that much that hadn't previously been hit. So people that were hit by like Medic and stuff like that, they're continuing to fluctuate with every big update. But people who hadn't been previously hit, I haven't seen really any of them move at all. So I'm suspecting it's got to be something new they've done to something. It'd be interesting if it is to do with this, if they are looking to attack these niche edits finally. I mean, Google should be embarrassed that hacking people's websites is a way to rank in Google, and it's possibly the most used and most effective short-term method to rank in Google is to hack people's websites. I think that's kind of embarrassing for their search quality team, maybe. So I'd be surprised if they don't find a way to take action.
Cool. All right, guys.
All right. Don't forget to tune in next week. Yep. Like, subscribe, and share, and yeah.
Cool. I'll catch you guys next week.
All right.
Adios.